Hello, welcome to Kelly's Roadhouse, the podcast where we recap every single Sweet Valley High book in the series. It's our Halloween special this week, and we are covering super thriller Double Jeopardy. I'm Paula, and I'm here with Rich.
Hello.
We're really excited. This is the first Halloween we've had as a podcast.
Yeah.
And the first super thriller we've covered.
Yes. First super thriller I've ever read.
What do you think?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good.
They're all classic. They're all amazing.
It was really good.
I have to say it was a lot of work, as they're slightly longer than the other books.
It was a lot of work. I feel like all I've done all week is either work, record podcasts, or read books.
Yeah.
Because we always discuss this, like, very briefly. We always talk about this. Reading the book is not the problem. Making the notes is
It takes a lot of time.
It takes so long.
I've got 20 pages of notes on this book.
Yeah.
Although, for our Rags to Riches episode last time, I had 33 pages of notes.
That was a good one.
I don't know why that one was so long.
No. But you know, these things happen. So, no, I really enjoyed it. But, of course, I don't want to, say any spoilers because we're going to go through it, right?
Yeah, so because it was longer, I've got one copy of this, and we decided to order another copy so we could both simultaneously read it and make our notes.
Yeah, I don't think we would have made it if we had to
usually,
both read it separately.
I read it and then I pass it on to Rich. And luckily, I was really happy when Rich ordered a copy. I've got the purple copy, which is like a lilac colour with a magnifying glass and the twins in the middle of it. And then Rich ordered a random copy from World of Books, and it's a different cover. It's baby pink.
It's the pink one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a square.
Yeah.
A rectangle with them in. So I now have two versions.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
Because we were like, we'll just sell the other one or like give it away.
Well, I assumed it was going to be a double. I didn't think it would be a variant, so that's awesome. It's worked out well.
And we did a poll on Instagram if people preferred the pink or the purple.
I voted purple too.
We had 75 votes, and it was 33% liked the pink and 67% liked purple.
Yeah, even I voted purple, I must admit.
I was torn because I loved the bubblegum pink colour.
I love the colour, but I really like the magnifying glass
and
design.
Stuff swings it.
Yeah. That's what wins it for me.
So we agree with you. The 50 of you that voted for purple.
Yeah.
On the cover, if you haven't seen it, we have Jessica and Elizabeth looking shocked.
Yes.
They look a bit like sex dolls.
Do you know, I had not noticed that or made that observation.
It was the first thing I thought.
But now that you've said it, they actually really do.
Especially Jessica in the pink.
Yes. Yeah, actually both of them.
She's got the blowjob mouth.
Oh dear. Yeah, now that you've said it, I'm not going to be able to unsee that.
And yeah, I think they're standing in the parking lot, in the car park.
I would assume so, yeah. That would make the most sense.
Which is a big part of this story. And yeah, they're looking terrified. And it says on the back, when twin sisters Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield land internships at the Sweet Valley News, they think they'll be reporting the news. Really? Like your interns?
This is the same as when like Jessica became a candy striper and she was like, yeah, I'm going to be like a
going to be
nurse
saving
or
lives.
It's like, no, you're really not.
But they end up making headlines when Jessica becomes an eyewitness to murder.
Yes.
Then Adam Maitland, a friend of the twins' brother Stephen, is charged with the murder, and Elizabeth has evidence that could convict him. Jessica knows Adam is innocent. She saw the murderer, and she sets out to prove it. The problem is, he saw her too. Can the twins find the killer before he finds them? Or will Jessica and Elizabeth be caught in a deadly case of mistaken identity?
Well, let's find out as we go through Double Jeopardy.
Yeah, so we start with Jessica's eyes sparkling with excitement.
Yes, she bursts into Liz's room.
The twins have got internships at the Sweet Valley News, as we just said. And Jessica thinks it's going to be the most wonderful summer of her entire life.
Now, that may sound...
I don't believe that.
Absolutely nothing like Jessica Wakefield. But of course, there's a reason she's feeling this way.
Yeah. So, like us, Liz is finding Jessica's excitement strange.
Yes.
Because Jessica had been against working there for weeks.
Yeah, apparently Ned and Alice suggested that she join her sister at the newspaper, and Jessica was fuming about it.
Yeah, she'd wanted to spend the summer rafting in the Grand Canyon, hitchhiking around Europe, or working on a Hollywood sitcom.
Yeah, she's like just basically decided she would be a movie star. For this. She's like, oh, what shall I do during the summer? I'll just become a soap star. It's fine. Just
well,
to pass
actually, in about 50 books' time from where we are, there is a book called Soap Star where she does become a soap star.
Just on summer vacation.
Like an actual
Maybe
famous soap star.
It's an achievable goal.
So
there we go.
We'll look forward to you reading that one. But as usual, the reason for a sudden change of heart was a guy.
Yes, a guy named Seth Miller.
Yeah. He's 5'6". Sorry, that was the twins description. Hang on.
They're 5'6", and they've got eyes as blue as the Pacific Ocean.
We got the twins description. 5'6", model slim size 6 figures, blonde shoulder length hair, sparkling blue-green eyes, tiny dimples in their left cheeks, and gold lavalier necklaces.
Aww.
But something's different on this description.
Well, they didn't mention the Pacific Ocean, which is usually one.
No, we're told Liz likes to spend time with her boyfriend, Jeffrey French.
I know. So this is very far in the future, and obviously,
yeah, we are about 30 books ahead from where we are now reading this.
So of course, I'm used to Todd being the boyfriend of Liz.
Yeah, sorry, we spoiled it for you.
It's Jeffrey. It's not the only thing that turns up in this book, but it's cool. It's cool. Obviously, I knew. Like you've told me before that she got with someone called Jeffrey. Yeah. We've played the quiz whiz. I know. So yes,
he's not in this book anyway. He's just mentioned.
He's like on the phone once or twice, and that's about it.
We deliberately picked like the first super thriller, so we'd go like the least amount of books ahead.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that was still about. I think this one just takes place just after book 40.
Right.
And we're on book 16 or something now.
Yeah, I think we'll be on 17 next time.
So we've gone 20 something books ahead.
That's fine. It's a one-off. So yeah, I was just going to say Jeffrey is working away, isn't he?
Yeah. And then they lay it on really thick about how great Liz is.
Oh God.
They say she's a natural leader, honest and dependable, blah blah blah. And then we're told that Jessica is a flake. One minute she wants to be a dancer, the next she's obsessed with French cooking.
My favourite description of the twins is always the Elizabeth has a watch because she cares about time. Jessica doesn't have a watch because she's a free spirit, which does come up later. Actually, they mention the watch thing later on. But yeah, that's always my favourite one.
And then they talk about the twin tuition.
Yes.
Which, if you listen to our Casey's episode, was a big part of it.
Well, it's quite nice, isn't it? We had, as far as I know, unless it happens in kids, we had our first case of twin tuition in our Twins in Casey's episode last week, and now here we are in Sweet Valley High with
No, we've had
tuition.
twin tuition before.
Have we? Not like this.
Yeah, when in Dangerous Love, when Jessica's,
yes, you're right. Oh my goodness.
Jessica's kissing that guy.
Rick Andover?
No, the cousin of someone. Is it Ina's cousin? I can't remember, but and when she's kissing him, she's thinking, Liz is in trouble.
Liz is in trouble, yes. You're right.
But anyway, we're told that the twin tuition is how Elizabeth knows that Jessica is excited about Seth.
That like
I don't think you need to be psychic to work out that
that's not
down to a guy.
That's not your psychic. I'll tell you what, that's not your psychic intuition. Because as soon as I read that she was excited about it, I knew it was going to be about a guy that had. I'm not her twin, and
he's male. He's got a pulse.
Yeah,
like she's interested.
Yeah.
Jessica starts gushing that she's been struggling to get any work done with Seth around, and then for no reason at all, she shrieks and just accuses Liz of being in love with him.
Yeah, she's like, Liz, are you also in love with him? And it's like...
and she gets really upset.
Yeah, like, genuinely. She's like, well, you're moving in on my man.
Yeah, and there's no reason for her to think this.
No, what I love as well is that there's never any, like, thought in Jess's mind that Seth might not be interested in her. It's like a done deal, as long as Liz doesn't mess it up for her. But, of course, Liz reminds her that, all she's thinking about is Jeffrey. He's the only man in her life. It's all about Jeffrey and also sucking up to Mr. Rob. That's all she wants to do this summer.
Yeah. So Jeffrey is away for 6 weeks working as a camp counsellor.
Yes.
At this point, I did think that Liz was going to cheat on him with Seth.
I did as well, if I'm honest.
He seems more of her type because he's like a writer and
I was like, he seems more her type than Jess's type. But
but that's not what happens.
No, it's not.
For once, in a special edition, Elizabeth doesn't cheat.
Right.
Maybe she doesn't cheat on Jeffrey. She just cheats on Todd.
Yeah, maybe Jeffrey's the one she's faithful to.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out as we do more super thrillers, right?
Yeah. And Jess has been trying to lure Liz away from Jeffrey because for some reason, like, she's just really against Liz having a boyfriend.
Yeah, it's really strange.
It is really strange.
Why? She's totally it's like she says or no, she doesn't say it. She thinks it. She thinks that long distance relationships are stupid. And I was like, this isn't long distance. It's like a couple of weeks over the summer. He's
gone away for 6 weeks.
Like, it's not like he's moved away permanently or anything. Like, it's just for the summer. And they're on the phone. They're writing letters. Like,
but Jess also thinks, even though she wants Elizabeth to be single, she doesn't want any competition for Seth.
Yes, that's kind of key. So it's kind of weird because she's like, oh, she might fancy Seth, and I need to get her away from Seth. That, like, then just leave it as it is because she's with Jeffrey and that's fine. But she's also, to make things more complicated for herself, she's like, I don't want her to be with Jeffrey, but I also don't want her to be with Seth, so now I have to find a third guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, just leave them as they are. They're happy and in love, and she's not interested in Seth. Leave it there.
But Liz says that Seth is too old anyway, and Jessica says he's only 22.
Now, I don't know about you, but my immediate thought when she said that was, A, he's 22 and you're 16. That's a hell of an age gap. Might not even be legal in the US, I don't know.
Yeah.
But also, in a few books ago, well, I guess a lot of books ago in here, she dumped a guy that she was in love with because he was a year younger than her.
Yeah, Dennis Creighton.
She ditched him for being a year younger, and yet here she's like, oh, well, you know, he's only 22. It's like, you're 16.
And she knows he's 22 because she found his resume in Mr. Rob's confidential filing cabinet.
Yes.
Found it.
This, of course, disgusts Liz, who knows full well that she didn't just find it.
Yeah.
But Jess says, well, they're going to become reporters. They need to learn how to investigate.
And Liz is secretly hoping to be allowed to write a story by the end of the summer. But she knows that it'll take weeks of hard work.
Yeah, she basically wants to suck up to Mr. Rob, the head of the newspaper, and try to get him to publish one of her stories by the end of the summer. Because they're basically just going to be doing the photocopying.
And Jess tells Liz that she knows lots about Seth. She knows that he's a genius who won all kinds of awards for his writing in college. He got a master's degree in journalism. And he also writes mysteries in his spare time under the pen name Lester Ames. Yes,
Lester Ames. Now, Liz then basically asks, she's like, could you do me a favour, Liz, and teach me everything you know about writing so that I can impress Seth?
Yeah, she thinks if she gets an article published, she'll impress Seth. And obviously Liz isn't happy about this because, like, she wants an article published herself.
Yeah, and she's actually going to put in some work.
For it.
Yeah.
And this is her lifelong ambition. And
this has been Jess's for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I want to just do this to impress this guy.
Yeah.
And she says, like, it's not that easy.
Yeah, because she also says she's like starts fantasizing about Seth getting with her and then becoming the next Alfred Hitchcock.
It's a Jessica daydream.
And then she also says that she'll, Seth will start writing Jess into her stories, and they'll even let Liz write some scripts or something.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, well, you can do some like lower job.
Yeah. And she's got a plan to make Seth pay attention to her.
Oh no.
This genius plan is basically just to lie.
It's the dumbest plan.
Just make up mysteries and then offer to help solve them.
Yes. She's basically like, there was this really rubbish James Bond villain that caused problems to report the news. So he committed crimes and then he owned a newspaper and made news about it. That's basically just his plan here. She's going to basically make up news to impress Seth to get stories written.
This sounds like a twins book.
Yeah, it really does. Like she
It doesn't end up like a twins book.
No,
but...
it certainly doesn't. But you're right. Her mentality here is like Jessica in Twins.
It's like a 12-year-old plan.
Yeah.
But later on, the family are on their deck sipping herbal tea, and Jessica's absorbed in an anthology of detective stories. Like, she's really thrown herself into this.
I love it. I love it when some of my favourite Jess moments are when she suddenly decides, like when she's like, I'm sophisticated now, and now she's like, oh, I'm a writer now. I read all these novels now. I'm into mysteries now.
Like, if there's a guy involved, she'll do whatever it takes. She'll change her whole personality, the way she dresses, everything.
Alice and Ned should just hire a really handsome guy to basically look after Jessica and just be like, instead of us bothering to tell Jessica what to do, get this handsome guy to do it, and she'll just do it.
Yeah. Stephen's home from college for the summer. Surprise, surprise. But he's actually home to work at Ned's law firm.
Yes, yeah.
And Alice, who is often mistaken for the twins' older sister,
you don't say,
asks Stephen when his guest is arriving, and Jessica demands to know why nobody has told her that Stephen's having a guest.
And of course, Liz takes this opportunity to mock Jess and her reporter skills, given that they've been talking about this for weeks.
So one of Stephen's college friends, Adam Maitland, is interning at Wells and Wells, which is a really shit name for a law firm.
It's a really shit name for a law firm.
Wells and Wells.
And I also thought, like...
At least it's not called the law firm.
The law firm, yeah, I guess. Isn't Ned, like, a bit annoyed as well? He's like, you could have joined my law firm. You're coming to stay with me,
Yeah, but he wants to practice criminal law.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
And Ned is in litigation.
Yeah.
So, Adam's going to be staying with them for the summer. Jessica isn't happy about this, and she grumbles about a study on the effects of cramped living conditions on people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that, you're in some kind of cramped squalor.
Yeah, no, I know. Their house, sounds massive from all descriptions.
You've got, a deck, a pool...
ensuite bathroom.
Yeah.
They're doing all right for themselves. I don't think they're going to be stuck for room.
And Ned says Adam is an exceptional young man. And Liz says that she met him when he came round to drop some stuff off, and he's actually quite cute. Which
I think Liz said to try and get Jess on side, to be like, he's cute. Okay, I don't mind him staying then. This backfires, however, because Jess's mental brain, which has already been trying to split her up with Jeffrey whilst getting her with someone else to ignore Seth, has now thought, oh, wait a minute. Liz just said he's cute. There must be a chance here.
Yeah, she thinks she could use him as a pawn in her plan.
Basically.
To stop Liz's futile attachment to Jeffrey.
Yeah.
So we cut to Sunday at the beach. Jess, Liz, Lila and Enid are hanging out together.
Now
that sounds a very unlikely combination.
I'm glad you said that, because of course we're skipping so far ahead. I don't know what happens in the future of Sweet Valley High. I just put a note here saying that's a really weird group.
No, they don't all suddenly become best buds.
I'm assuming that it's like Liz, Enid, full stop, Jess and Lila. They're next to each other, but they're not hanging out together. Yeah.
Well, Liz is showing them all her latest letter from Jeffrey.
Yeah, and I love how Enid's impressed, but Jess and Lila are just like, oh.
Yeah, they say he's immature. It would be more mature not to be in a committed relationship. That's how they behave.
Also, if we're talking about maturity, Jess, you're trying to date a 22-year-old, you're immature.
And also, I love that Lila's using expensive French suntan oil.
Yeah, of course.
Is there not suntan oil in America? She has to get it from France.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey tells Liz in his letter about some pranks that the kids have played. Something about frogs in people's beds.
Yeah, these kids just sound like total little shits. And they've done nothing but prank him. And worst of all, this little kid called Benji put a frog in Jeffrey's trunks or something, I think.
And Lila says the camp she went to wasn't juvenile like that. And Enid points out that she went to a finishing camp in Switzerland.
Yes, apparently they don't mess around with frogs. Though.
Yeah, Enid says they don't let you mess around with frogs in Switzerland. And she says it like it's like a Swiss law.
It's the law in Switzerland. You're not allowed.
You get arrested for doing that in Switzerland.
They've got big red signs with crosses through them with the frog on it.
Don't mess around with frogs.
You leave the frogs alone.
And Jessica suggests to Liz that this summer might be a good time to test her relationship by dating other people.
And she's obviously spoken about this with Lila, because Lila's immediately zones in on it and is like, yeah.
Yeah. she suggests maybe somebody a bit older.
Yeah.
And then Lila says, yeah, Adam sounds terrific. Poor, but terrific.
Yeah, she's got to get poor in there. So basically Jess is like, you know what would be really good for your relationship with Jeffrey? Cheat on Jeffrey. That'll do you the world of good.
Yeah. And Liz realises what they're up to, and she says, look, I'm not interested in Adam. And anyway, Adam has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Later on, Adam arrives, and he's out by the pool with the family. They're all having a barbecue. And Jessica notices that Liz was right. He is cute.
Yes, and she's also delighted.
But not good enough for her.
No, not good enough for Jessica. I mean, come on. She's got her eyes on Seth. But she's also delighted to see that Liz seems to be listening to what Adam's saying more than anyone else. But Liz is just being attentive.
He's a guest.
Yeah, she's just being nice, basically.
He's telling them that his parents are farmers, but he's always wanted to be a lawyer. But he has to work hard for his grades because he's not as naturally smart as Stephen. Who is? And it's lucky Stephen's naturally smart because he never seems to do any work.
No, never.
He's just home from college like every few days.
Yeah.
Eating.
Yeah.
The twins discover they're all working in the same building as Adam, and suggest they could get together for lunch sometime. They're all working in the Western building downtown.
Yeah.
And then Adam tells them all about his girlfriend Laurie, who lives about an hour away. He says he's hoping to see her on weekends because she's going through a lot at the moment. And just because he said that, Jessica decides that Jessica decides Laurie obviously isn't the kind of girl Adam needs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God help she's got any problems. You know?
Yeah.
She's not the kind of girl you need. And thinks she's obviously a drag.
I know. It's like, come on. She's so harsh.
And then Adam explains that her parents died when she was young, so she lives with her grandfather. And Jess thinks if Adam feels sorry for this pathetic creature, luring him away could be harder than she thought. He explains that her grandfather is Tucker Hamilton, a rich oil tycoon. Tucker disapproves of Adam, and he wants Laurie to marry one of his business associate's sons, who is apparently pretty unstable.
So, I had, I told you when I was making my notes today, I said to you, I had a theory as this book went on, so I just want to run the theory past you, as we go, because obviously I've read the book now, but I made the note at the time. So This is my first thought. When I heard that he was trying to basically, the grandfather's trying to get Laurie to be with this rich but unstable guy, I immediately thought it was Bruce Patman. I was like, is this intense person Bruce Patman? And given what it ends up being, I was like, oh no, it's clearly, obviously not. But yeah, my first thought was it's Bruce Patman. But yeah, so.
Laurie's granddad has actually threatened to cut Laurie off unless she goes out with this rich, unstable guy.
Yeah.
So Laurie went out with him a couple of times just to keep her grandfather happy. But she carried on seeing Adam in secret. And
that's one of the reasons that he's here. It's because they're quite close and they can still see each other like an hour away or something.
Yeah. But Jess is determined to lure him away from this depressing, dead-end relationship.
She also thinks...
She's so nasty.
She also thinks that Adam is as bad as Elizabeth for getting involved in, quote, intense relationships. I'm like, it's not intense. Like, she's got, like, horrible things. She's in a horrible situation. It's not her fault.
Yeah, and why is she so desperate to control everyone else's lives?
I don't know. She's never been this bothered about...
Just get on with your own.
She was always content for Liz to be with Todd. But now all of a sudden, like every second, she's like, oh, Liz and Jeffrey must split up.
Yeah. And then later on, Elizabeth finds Jessica in the living room with a pair of binoculars. She's spying on their next door neighbour, Mr. Bennett. She says he's been digging for an hour.
Oh my God.
She thinks it's very strange, and she's going to tell Seth all about it at work.
Yeah, do you know, like Liz is like, what has he been doing that's so concerning? Mm-hmm. And she's like, he's been digging in his garden with a shovel.
She says he's burying evidence, and he's obviously involved in the recent bank robbery that's been in the news.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Just because he's doing some gardening.
Yeah, yeah.
And Liz thinks she's insane.
Yeah, she's like, he's probably just transplanting some plants or something.
Yeah,
you know.
and tells her that snooping around and accusing people is not what a good reporter should do. But she's always snooping around.
I must admit, there is
all Liz does is snoop around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jessica decides if she can't find any evidence for Seth on this, she'll just fucking make it up.
Yeah, basically. It's fine.
So on Monday, Jessica's wearing her most professional looking outfit. The outfits in this book are really boring.
Yeah.
I usually describe the outfits in detail, but she's wearing a straight black skirt with a white cotton sweater. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Don't think there's any interesting outfits in this whole book.
I thought you were trying to impress people, Jess. Come on.
When she finally goes downstairs to breakfast, Liz is annoyed at her. She wanted to be at work early to show Mr. Rob an article she'd written for the Oracle.
Yeah.
This is an article on homeless people.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I bet that is like the most patronising as fuck article.
Yeah,
ever.
for sure.
Elizabeth Wakefield's view on homeless people.
Yeah, oh my God, can you imagine? I wish they'd written it down.
I wish they'd written it down as well. That would be great. I want to read it. But in the car, Jessica goes on about Mr. Bennett again. She says Seth will understand how important it is that somebody keeps an eye on him. Yeah,
Liz is like, it's the summer. Lots of people work on their gardens in the summer. And Jess is like, it's looking more and more suspicious. It's like, why?
And again, this sounds like a twins thing. Like, this is what you do when you're like 11 or 12, isn't it? And you're like, want to be like the famous five or something. And you see people doing things and make a whole mystery in your head.
Liz,
she's 16. She should not be doing this.
She should not be doing this. Liz says to Jess that the only suspicious thing that's been happening this summer is the fact that Jess has taken her necklace 2 days in a row. And she says that if you want to report on something, maybe you should look into the person who keeps stealing clothes every week. I thought that was quite a good comeback from Liz. It was pretty good.
And then when they get to the Western Building, they park up on the 6th floor of the parking lot.
Yes.
Jessica comments on how dark and spooky it is.
Ooh.
And then in the office, she tries to chat to Seth, but he says he's busy trying to wrap up a story. He's writing a story on a fire at the Box Tree Cafe.
Yeah.
No, I don't want the Box Tree Cafe to be damaged.
Well, it seems okay. We'll get to it.
And then she starts on her plan of literally just making shit up.
She literally... this article's being written about clearly an accident at the Box Tree Cafe. A fire broke out.
Yeah.
Skillet fire. She literally just walks over to him. It's like, I don't think that was an accident.
Well, she tells him it was arson.
Yeah.
She says it's probably not a big deal, but
well, it is a big deal. It was arson. Actually, arson is a massive deal. Like,
and he's like, well, it looked like a straightforward accident to me, but if you're serious, then we need to go over there and have a look and check it out.
So, basically, with zero evidence, this 22-year-old upstart reporter who's trying to make a name for himself just completely, with no evidence whatsoever, says, oh, okay, 16-year-old girl, if you believe that this is arson, let's get in the car.
Yeah, and she's like really happy because she thinks it's her chance to spend some time with him.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not exactly a date, is it?
No, and the book makes it really clear all the way through. Even when she's like in his good graces, it always says he smiles non-committally and stuff. Like he's clearly not interested at all.
And she thinks, even though it was probably just a kitchen fire, they owed it to the public to go and make sure no foul play was involved.
Yeah.
She's so selfless.
So they get into the Toyota Celica, which they make a big deal out of. I guess Toyota Celica's a good car. I don't know. They mention it all the time. And then they start driving to the cafe, and only then does Seth say, what evidence have you got? It's like, why didn't you ask that before you got up from your desk? You've got up from your desk, got down to the car, you're driving to the cafe now. What if she was like, oh, I haven't got any?
And she just tries to change the subject about personal stuff. She asks him about his mystery writing.
Well, I actually thought, so she does change it to that, but at first it gets even worse, because she says, like, he's like, what evidence have you got? And she's like, a friend of mine, and I can't say any more than that because I'll get my friend in trouble. And it's like, you basically just made it sound like your friend's an arsonist.
Yeah, he says, who tipped you off? And she's like, I can't tell you any more than that. Just a friend.
Yeah, doesn't she try and put on like her husky romantic voice as well?
It says she tried to sound steely, like the heroines in the TV shows her and Lila watched. The men in those TV shows always seem to flip over hardcore professional women.
Yeah,
You're just a 16-year-old intern.
But Jessica is dressed very sophisticated today, so...
At the Box Tree Cafe, she's surprised when he wants to go inside.
Yeah, well, like,
and,
I know, suddenly
like,
it's all real for her.
Yeah.
She's like, oh shit, like...
And he's like, why did you think we came here?
Yeah, we're not just going to sit outside. Like, you've actually made an accusation that's pretty serious. Like, I genuinely believe that Jessica thinks that they would have been in a restaurant by now. Like he would have just taken her to a restaurant to discuss it, and they'd be eating and like drinking champagne.
But when they get inside, the manager tells them that a skillet caught fire.
Yeah,
and some towels ignited.
Yeah, and Seth's like, sir, we have reason to suspect that this might have been an arson. And the guy's like, no, I literally saw it. I was looking at it when it caught fire.
And the manager and all the waiters laugh at them.
Yeah, because like they were there. It's a skillet fire.
And one of them says, not unless the prime suspect was an omelette, which made me laugh.
And Jess feels like an idiot, which is good.
She is an
idiot, yeah.
On the way back in the car, she apologises to Seth, and she says, I get a bit excited about things. And he says, you have to be careful in this business because it's easy to get a bad reputation.
Now make sure you learn this lesson, Jessica, and don't do this again.
Yes, don't do it again. And then we cut to the beach. Jessica's just skiving off work.
Yeah, she was sent to the library to do some research and basically finished early and was like, fuck it. I'm not going back to the office. I'll go to the beach with Lila. Which leads me to suspect that Jessica always has her bikini under whatever she's wearing, just ready to go to the beach. Because somehow she was at the library, now she's lying out on the beach with Lila.
Yeah, I doubt she's lying there in like her white cotton shirt and her black
I wouldn't
skirt.
have thought so, no.
And Lila's watching her favourite soap through headphones on her Watchman.
And I made a note here that if you needed any more proof that Lila's family are loaded, she's got a Watchman.
What the hell is a Watchman?
It's like a Walkman, but with like a TV.
I don't remember these.
Super expensive.
I did have like an MP3 player that had a TV on it.
Yeah, this is like, this would have been the 80s, early 90s, so like portable TVs.
This
really
was early
expensive.
noughties. It was a Sony Walkman, and it had a TV, but you could only watch like music videos on it. You couldn't like get TV channels.
I'm pretty sure that Watchmen you could watch TV. Like it had
I think you could like download
stuff.
like BBC iPlayer things and stuff on it. It was so cool. I want to find that. Actually.
Well,
I remember it broke.
Oh. Never mind. We should not find it. But yes, she's out with Lila, and Lila's watching her favourite soap. And Jessica complains that she's not paying any attention to her. Why have you even come to the beach if you're just going to watch this TV show anyway? But Lila says, it's just getting to the best part.
Yeah, she tells Jess all about this plot, which was massively complicated and long. I've just written down basically the gist of it. It involves somebody planting a fake love letter in someone else's purse. Yeah,
this woman thought that she hated this guy who she thought fancied him, but it turns out that then she started fancying him because of a fake love letter that wasn't from him or something like that. And this gives Jessica her most genius idea.
Another genius idea. She thinks maybe she could do that with Adam to Liz. And then Liz will start thinking of him in a more romantic way.
That does not work.
No, it doesn't work. Because Adam's still got a girlfriend.
If someone I'm not attracted to or interested in gives me a love letter, I'm not going to suddenly be like, oh yeah.
No.
You're just going to be like, oh, this is...
Well, I should bloody hope you're not.
No, obviously. But no, I mean, like, it's just going to be more awkward. It's like, now you've just made this situation way more awkward. Now I don't know what to do. Like,
and Adam is not thinking of Liz in a romantic way, even if she starts thinking of him in one.
Again, she assumes that the guys are just going to be fine with it.
Oh, we know, the Wakefield twins. Who doesn't fancy the Wakefield twins? Everyone does.
Yeah, who doesn't fancy these 16-year-old children? Because even Adam's pretty old, right? Adam's Stephen's age, which is what, 2 years older than
18,
now?
yeah.
So it's like, you know...
So she rushes home. She actually uses Elizabeth's typewriter to write the letter.
Yes.
To make it worse.
Now, I'm assuming you're going to read this letter.
Yeah, actually, I could do.
While you're finding it, so I'd like to point out, with everything that Jess has thought about with Mr. Bennett, and all of the buried treasure, and now the fire at the cafe, and now this diamond of a letter that you're about to read, I would like to point out that Jessica definitely has as good, if not better, writer's imagination than Liz.
Oh, for sure.
Like, for sure. She's more talented than Liz is at all of this.
Yeah, she writes this letter. It says, "Dear Liz, please don't think I'm a terrible coward to write you instead of bringing this up in person. I guess I am a coward. If I weren't, I would have broken up with Laurie the minute I met you. Liz, it's true. I'm in love with you. I know I haven't shown it, and the truth is I won't be able to show it to you. Not yet. Not until I figure out what to do about Laurie. She's so vulnerable. I don't want to hurt her until I have to. So please be patient with me if I treat you like just another friend while I'm trying to get it all sorted out. You know you're not just another friend to me. I love you. I can't live without you. You're all I really want in this world. And if I can't figure out something soon, I may have to do something drastic. Love, Adam."
Oh my. Well, Jessica thinks that the letter is perfect. In her mind, it's far-fetched.
It's very dramatic. Perfect. And it reminds me of the love letter she wrote to Ken from Amy.
Thinking exactly the same thing. That's a note I've got here.
In, that one about the the basketball.
Everybody's taller than I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never remember the name of that book. Choosing Sides?
Might be Choosing Sides, something like that. So later,
she slips it under Liz's pillow.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry, yeah, that's a key point I missed there. Yeah. She slips it under Liz's pillow and leaves. Mm. So later, Liz is on the phone to Jeffrey.
Yeah, and then they have like a soppy conversation. Haven't written any of this conversation.
No, they have a really soppy conversation. He says he misses her. He's going to be away overnight the night after, so they won't speak for a day. And she says she'll write. But then she's tired.
Yeah, and she's lying there thinking of how great Jeffrey is. She's smiling at his picture. And then she feels something underneath her pillow.
Yes, what could it be?
It's obviously the letter. She reads it and she starts trembling. And she just decides to hide it between some books and pretend it doesn't even exist.
Because she's Liz. Why would she confront this problem? Of course not. She's just going to ignore it.
Cut to the office. Jessica's excitedly telling Seth she's got the scoop of the century. She knows who was behind the big bank robbery and where the money is hidden. Yeah,
she's like, for real this time. This. I know last time,
Jesus
but this
Christ.
time.
He warns her, like, they could be fired if this is wrong. And she's like, no, I'm serious. And then she invents a completely made-up story. Like, not even a word of it's true. She even invents fake witnesses.
Yeah, and this is... It says that she is, in her mind, so convincing that she convinces herself for a moment that it might actually be true.
She even says the police had suspected Mr. Bennett of embezzlement for years.
Yeah, like, well, why didn't they do something about it?
I know. An embezzlement of what? So, he's a fucking idiot. He just types this all up and hands it into Mr. Rob.
I couldn't believe this. This is like... I know he was pretty stupid the
Doesn't
first
check
time.
anything. He just types it up as she's saying it.
Yeah, so Mr. Rob comes over asking if Seth's finished a piece of work that he's been hired to write. And, it's about the postal strike that's going on. There's a big postal strike going on. And Seth hands it to him, and Jess is like, it's better than the postal strike, though. It's not about the postal strike. And Mr. Rob's like, do you have sources for this massive accusation you're about to make against this innocent member of the public? And Seth's like, yes, we have our sources, don't worry.
And then Jessica gets worried because apparently she'd hoped Mr. Rob wouldn't really pay much attention to the article.
No.
It's like, of course he would. You've just said it's the scoop of the century.
Well, and also, his newspaper's reputation's at stake, right?
Yeah.
He's going to want to make sure that it's actually accurate.
So after lunch, he calls them both into his office. He says he's checked out the story and not a single word of it is true.
Yeah.
Seth is kicking himself.
Well, as he should
As
be.
he should.
Seth is an absolute moron.
And Jess predictably bursts into tears, as she does whenever she gets into trouble with an adult.
I love this so much, though.
And she says, it's all my fault.
Yeah, so she admits it is all her fault. Mr. Rob's like, I'm going to fire you both. But then he's like, oh, actually, okay, well, I guess I can see you're upset, and I guess you've learned a lesson here. So, Seth, you can stay, but if you ever do this again, you're done forever. And Jessica, we can't keep you in this job. We can't, we've got enough reporters and assistants up here. So you can go and work with Sandra.
Yeah, Sandra was a gruff, unfriendly woman in her early 30s. They say that like early 30s is old.
I know, they do that all the time in these books.
And she's got to help Sandra with a database that they're working on.
Yeah, Sandra's well known as like a taskmaster around the office. So Jess knows that she's in trouble, but it's Jessica's only chance. But then, oh my god, then. So I've actually got it in caps, oh my god. So when they leave the office, Jess actually, not sarcastically, not jokingly, she genuinely turns to Seth and says, you don't have to thank me.
Yeah, you don't have to thank me for how unselfish I was in there.
She's like, but you know how unselfish I was, right? I took the blame for something that I entirely caused.
And he says it was your fault.
It was her. I mean, it was his fault for believing her, but it was completely her fault for making this up.
And she says, you'll probably want to take me to dinner to thank me.
I know. It's so good. And even when he's not down with this, she's then still thinking, oh, he'll probably calm down later and want to take me out. It's like,
he says, you've got to be kidding, and storms off.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, he's just angry. He'll see how selfless I was later.
That night, she's still in the office at 10 p.m, which is really fucking late.
Yeah, it is late. For a 16-year-old to be in an office.
For anyone, I wouldn't be in an office at 10 p.m.
No.
But she couldn't believe Sandra had expected her to input all these figures into the computer. Yeah. Like, do actual work, she means.
Do
I bet it was just a normal amount.
Yeah, it probably was. She's just been faffing about all day.
Or even says something like she has to admit to herself she'd wasted a bit of the afternoon by apologising to Seth over and over again. Yeah. And going to talk to Liz and telling her what had happened.
Yeah. And clearing her desk and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So she decides to go home and finish the database stuff tomorrow.
Yes. And she heads to the garage.
Yeah. She notices Adam's car is still there.
Yeah, and she thinks, oh, he must be working late too.
And then a crashing noise startles her. She turned around and she saw a man lifting something rolled up in a blanket out of the trunk of a white Trans Am. It looked like a body.
Yes.
But she told herself, nah, been reading too many detective stories. But then the man looked right into her eyes, and a woman's arm fell limply out of the blanket.
Yeah, so the book says that he kind of shifts
hoists it up.
Hoists it up, and when he does, a woman's arm drops from the... still attached, obviously.
Yeah, still attached.
Like hangs down. Sorry.
Hangs from it.
Just drops
falls
on the
onto
floor.
the floor. He's chopped her up. This is getting more sinister than we realised. The man was still staring at her really intensely as this happened.
Yes.
So she yanked the Fiat door open and sped off trembling.
Yeah, she has tears of terror as she drives.
Yeah. She keeps getting flashbacks of the man and the white Trans Am, which we learn has an S shape scratched into the rear right side. That's the detail she remembers.
Yeah, it's like a rusted S shape, isn't it, or something. She wants to pull over, but she's just too scared that he might be following her. She's like terrified, obviously.
She gets home to an empty house. Everyone else has gone to see a movie. She freaks out when she hears a noise, but, and here's another change in the book, the noise was just Prince Albert hurling himself into a magazine rack.
Makes me really happy, because I've heard about Prince Albert.
Yeah, this is your first Prince Albert introduction.
Can you remember when we had the dog walking twins book? I was like, oh my god, is that Prince Albert? Because there was like the cover with Sally, and I thought Sally was Prince Albert. So yeah, we haven't had Prince Albert yet.
We've got a few books to go. We're not too far from Prince Albert arriving.
I can't wait. He sounds like a delight. He just runs headfirst into magazine racks for some reason.
I think he arrives somewhere around the Tofu Glow time.
Oh, I can't wait for Tofu Glow.
And we're not too far away from that.
I've heard all about Tofu Glow.
I think we might get him early next year.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to that. But he's here now, running into magazine
Yeah,
racks.
weird dog. It says he hurls himself into a magazine rack.
Yeah.
Why? What the hell? So, yeah, she's really freaked out. She decides to call Lila and gets no answer. She tries to call Amy.
I like that the book says that she says out loud that she needs to speak to someone, and apparently Prince Albert gives her a supporting bark. Like, he agrees. He's like, yes,
He's really
you
good.
should do that.
He's a really good character.
He sounds great.
And yeah, she tries to call Amy, which she might also be surprised
Now
of,
her best friend.
because, yeah.
What the hell?
And in Sweet Valley Twins at the moment where we're at, Amy is
Tomboy Amy.
stringy-haired,
straight-haired Amy.
tomboy who Jessica hates. And is actually really, really fucking mean to.
Oh, how the times have changed.
Yeah, but she doesn't get any answer from Lila or Amy. So she decides to call Seth.
Yeah.
Because, like the psychopath she is, she's got his number from the private list of employee contact details in Mr. Rob's office.
Yeah, you're not going to do yourself
she's literally
any
breaking the law.
favours. Why don't you phone the police?
Yeah, that would be the wise idea, as you've just seen a dead body.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, probably. I mean, to be honest, you were in a car. You could have driven straight to the police station.
She begs Seth to come over, saying she's seen something awful.
Yeah, and he thinks at first, he's like, oh, you're just full of shit. But then he hears in her voice that she's clearly upset.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, actually, you might be serious. Okay.
But first he asks her if it was one of her neighbours gardening again, or if it was someone trying to set fire to her street with a barbecue.
Yeah.
But then he realises she's serious, so he comes over and she tells him everything.
Yeah, so he sits and he listens to the whole story.
And rather than suggesting they call the police...
I couldn't believe this.
He says, oh, we should go back to the parking lot to see if the car's still there.
Go back to the scene of the crime where someone's been murdered and someone looked like they wanted to murder you. Let's go back there.
Yeah. He says they can maybe get the license plate of the car.
But wouldn't it be better if you went back with the police?
Yeah. She's hysterical.
Yeah.
And she says the guy might be after her now because she's a witness.
Yeah.
But he, insists they go and puts a bit of pressure on her.
Yeah.
So they get there. The car park is deserted. It looks ghostly. And Adam's car is still parked there.
Yeah, so
weird.
Adam's working super late. Because this
it's past
is
midnight at this point.
Yeah, it's really, really late. Now, they find a guard there, though, because the guard booth was empty when she walked past. I think we might have missed that, but the guard booth was empty. But now they drive up to the guard and they ask, Seth asks, he's like, have you been here all night? And he says, yeah, I've been here all night. And Jess is like, no, you weren't. You weren't here when I came past. And eventually this guard admits, oh, I did take a 10-minute break.
Yeah, he gets really defensive first, and he accuses Jessica of saying he's not doing his job properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says, I did step out about an hour ago just to make a 10-minute phone call.
Yeah.
And then Seth says the police will want to speak to him later. Seth takes her home, and then back at home, Jess tearfully recounts the evening to her family. And Elizabeth accuses her of being kind of excitable lately.
Yeah.
And Ned says, tell us the whole story again. They clearly all think she's lying.
I mean, you can kind of see both sides of this. She's clearly upset about something, but they all know what happened during the day already now. They know that she made up this entire story about Mr. Bennett and all of that stuff. So it's a bit...
Yeah. But then Stephen says, we should just sleep on it before we call the police. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And then her family agree as well. And, they just... should be calling the police straight away. Yeah.
I mean, I did like the bit when Ned's appalled about her making up the stuff about Mr. Bennett, and Jess is like, "Stop bringing up ancient history." It's like this literally happened.
Yeah, it's a
today.
day ago or something. But then the phone rings and Ned answers it. His eyes go wide, and he starts talking about Jessica being at the parking lot. And then we find out it was the police on the phone. Adam has just been charged with first-degree murder of Laurie Hamilton.
Yeah. Stephen says that Adam wouldn't hurt a flea. And he questions, who is he supposed to have murdered?
And then they explain. He had called the police claiming he found Laurie's body in the trunk of his car. And she'd been strangled. And the police have found some rope in his glove compartment and arrested him.
Yeah. And obviously Stephen can't believe it, and he's like, he loved Laurie more than anything. Why would he do this? And I did make a note here. I was like, wait a minute, why was Laurie in the car park? Like, she's meant to be working like an hour away from,
I don't really
Sweet
understand.
Valley. Like, the list of suspects must be pretty short at this point. Like, why was she even there? Like, none
why
of
was
this
she
makes
even in
sense.
Sweet Valley?
So it certainly looks like Adam is guilty here, because it looks like he's gone to pick her up or something and brought her there, because she doesn't even live in Sweet Valley.
But they call Jessica to the police station immediately. So Jessica gets there, and the police tell her nobody else saw White Trans AM.
No.
It's not looking good for Adam.
Yeah.
Apparently he was so inconsolable when they got to the station that the police had to sedate him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's quite serious. I mean, sedations.
Yeah.
I guess he must have been going pretty crazy. I imagine the police deal with people going a bit crazy every day. So
yeah. And a grand jury's been called for the morning.
Yeah.
Sergeant Wilson says that Adam had only been dating Laurie for 6 months, and she was due to receive her trust fund in 2 weeks on her 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And Adam was in debt, and he'd been pushing for a secret marriage. Like, why is Sergeant Wilson telling the Wakefields all of this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, A, why he's telling them, and B, why this means that he would have killed her now, because surely there's nothing in it for him if he kills her now. He should wait 2 weeks, then he's got the inheritance.
That's what I thought.
It literally doesn't add up.
And then he takes a description of the man that Jessica saw, but he clearly, just doesn't believe her, and he's got his mind set up that it's Adam.
Yeah, I mean, he does say, like, oh, well, we'll take a statement and get a sketch made up, but, I love how he's, like, he confesses to Jess. He's like, to be honest with you, there's never been anything like this in Sweet Valley. Yeah. We're scared. He says the police are scared.
I know. Like, that's reassuring. Well done.
I was like, wait until you discover there's fucking vampires and werewolves in Sweet Valley.
He says in 25 years there's never been a murder in Sweet Valley before.
Yeah.
So that's how you can tell this is the first super thriller.
It's the first, because there's a murder in every one.
We're going to get a lot more murder.
Right, okay.
There's lots of murders. There's even a murder in Paradise.
The crime rate, the crime rate in Sweet Valley is about to skyrocket.
Yeah. I mean, even though there's not a murder, there's been plenty of kidnappings by the time this book comes around.
Yeah.
I'm sure there would have been a murder by book 40.
I'm sure that there would have been a murder in Sweet Valley history. I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, how small is Sweet Valley? Is it that small? I always got the impression it was quite big. It was quite a big, town place, But yeah, okay. So, first murder ever. The police are terrified.
And back at home, Jessica asks Liz if she'll sleep in her room with her. And Liz complains because it's too messy.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, you could have her stay in your room, Liz.
Yeah. Like, now's not the time to be bringing this up. Just stay with her. She's terrified. She's just seen a murderer.
Yeah. But Liz leaves her.
Yeah, she's just like, no, your room's too messy. See
deal
you later,
with it.
bye.
I can't deal with this room. The mess. It's stressing me out.
But when she leaves her, Jessica has nightmares and she wakes up screaming.
Now,
so Liz ends up in there anyway.
Well, yes, but Liz comes back in. And Sage Liz, has the best advice I've ever heard. Just stop thinking about the murderer and the murder.
Yeah.
Just don't think about it. You need to just stop thinking about it and have some sleep. That's just why, that's your problem. Your problem is that you're thinking about it. Just stop thinking about it.
And then at work the next day, like, what the hell is Jessica doing there anyway?
I know. Like,
take a day off, for God's sake.
Get some therapy. I'm pretty sure the police would offer that. You get therapy for that, right?
You'd at least get a day off work.
Yes, the very least. I think she's gone in because she wants to see Seth. But...
She's exhausted from lack of sleep. And then at lunchtime, Seth catches up with her and he wants to know what happened.
Yeah.
After he left her with the police. So Jessica tells him the whole story. But she says she's sure Adam is innocent. Yeah,
she says that Adam is, quote, the kind of person who you invite to stay with your family, not the kind of person who strangles his fiancée.
And then, for some reason, he believes her on this.
I guess he can see that she's really upset. Yeah. And of course he was there last night as well. Like, she's a very good actor if she's faking this one.
And he agrees to team up with her to find the man that she saw.
Yeah. And then Jess, of course, skips lunch because she's like, I'm going to get this work done with Sandra as soon as I can so that I can get more time on this research, find out who the killer is.
And then on Thursday night, Elizabeth is in her room. She is listening to beautiful chamber music.
Beautiful chamber music, yes.
What the fuck?
But she can't think about anything except that letter.
Yeah. Adam had been in custody for 48 hours now, and it says that Liz felt this more acutely than anyone else. Really.
It's her writer's imagination.
She feels it more acutely than Stephen, one of his best friends, or than Jessica, who literally saw a dead body.
Or Adam, who's been accused of murder.
Yeah. She feels it more acutely than anyone else. She was worrying that the letter had something to do with Laurie's death.
Yes, because it said, I don't want to hurt her until I have to.
Yeah, and it said, you're all I want in this world. If I can't figure out something soon, I may have to do something drastic.
Yeah.
And she thinks maybe he killed Laurie to be with her.
Maybe.
She's a bit up herself, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm going to make this all about me.
Well, everything's always about Liz, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just
Although,
that's
you know,
the way
you
she
can
operates.
see why she thinks that.
What I can't see is why she didn't give this to the police.
No, and also, why does she believe that somebody who met her 2 days ago was madly in love with her and willing to break up with his long-term girlfriend?
Yeah, I mean, none of it makes any sense. I mean, she does know Nicholas Morrow, so I guess...
Oh, yeah.
She does have a history.
Yeah, Nicholas Morrow fell in love with her quicker than that.
History for, crazy people.
He fell in love with her literally the second he saw her, didn't he?
Yeah, immediately.
Like
she opens the door. It's like, oh my God,
whoa.
I'm in love.
Yeah.
And
it's just the effect she has on people.
Yeah.
And she thinks she thinks I'm going to go and talk to Ned and ask him what he thinks.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. He's a lawyer and stuff. And
yeah, and she comes out with this hypothetical question.
It's obviously what
would you do if somebody had some evidence against somebody else?
Yeah, and Ned's like, okay, so this is about Adam. What have you got? Because he immediately he's like, I know exactly what this is about.
Yeah. So she ends up just giving Ned the letter.
Yeah, which should have probably done that from the start.
Definitely.
The night that this happened, you should have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Liz is always the one that doesn't tell people things, but this is pretty serious.
Mm-hmm. The next day, Stephen's looking pale and haggard. Reporters have been calling the house for him all week.
Yeah, it's Friday or something, and he's just been the centre of this media circus all the time.
And Jessica doesn't give a shit.
No,
about his
not
health.
at all. She doesn't even say hello to him.
She just starts trying to pump him for info about Adam. She asks if Adam had any enemies, and Stephen says the only person he could think of was Tom Winslow.
Yes, now Tom Winslow is the guy that Laurie's grandfather was trying to get.
Was it that unstable rich guy?
The unstable rich guy, Tom Winslow.
And Stephen agrees to take Jessica to the station with him so they can ask Adam about Tom Winslow.
Yeah.
At the station, Jessica looks at his faded grey prison clothes and she shudders.
Yeah.
Now's not the time to be judging the fashion.
Yeah,
choices.
not really.
And then they quiz Adam on who would do this. And Stephen says, maybe it was just a coincidence. A random man killed Laurie and put her in the trunk of a random car, and the car just happened to belong to Adam.
Right, and also,
okay,
as we said earlier, Laurie's not even in Sweet Valley, so this random person happened to kill a random girl that was Laurie, and happened to drive her to Sweet Valley.
Yeah,
and dump
a random
her
time
in Adam's car.
In a random car. Okay, Stephen. And Jessica asks Adam about Tom Winslow, and Adam says Tom was in love with Laurie, but he wouldn't have killed her.
Yeah, and I think they say here, that Adam had nothing to gain from killing her. There's no benefit to this at all. None of it makes any sense.
He's really tired, so they tell him they'll come back the next day.
Yeah.
Later on, the Wakefields are eating dinner at a new Mexican restaurant in Los Vistas.
Yes,
Where is that?
It's called Los Vistas. I translated it. It's the views. Is what it's called.
Alice and Ned say that the police are worried about the girl's safety. They're not to drive the Fiat Spider for now, as it could be recognised, as obviously it was what Jess was driving on the night.
Yeah.
And Ned tells them to be extra careful, not to go anywhere alone.
Yes. Briefly before that, Stephen and Jessica are talking about Adam to Ned and Alice, and Ned says, quote, "It sounds like he's going through a rough time."
Really? I think maybe
he's
slightly.
He's so observant. That's what makes him the crack lawyer that he is.
And then back at home, Jessica's in the living room with Stephen and his girlfriend, Cara.
I know. I'm learning all the things.
New thing number 3 for Rich.
I think I knew this one was coming because I think we'd mentioned it, or you'd mentioned it on one of the podcasts that eventually, because Cara, of course, has tried it on with Stephen in the books.
Yeah, and he got really violent with her.
Yes, he did. He was a bit of a psychopath.
When he was going in mental over Trisha.
Stephen seems a bit
calmer. And he kissed her really roughly and was like...
just started really throwing her around the dance floor and stuff.
That's really weird with her. Well, they're a good couple
It's
now.
like, do you want to dance? This dance? Come on, this dance.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so good.
It was a brilliant book.
But yeah, they're a happy couple now.
Cool.
So
at least in public.
Yeah.
Stephen is a bit of a psycho, I've got to say. The way he's behaved in the early books.
Oh, just you wait.
Yeah.
So Jessica...
Has Cara had like plastic surgery at this point to start looking like Trisha?
No,
right,
not
okay.
yet. And then Stephen brings up the letter, and she says it's made Adam look even worse. And of course, Jessica doesn't know about the letter, so she's like, "What letter?"
Yeah.
And Stephen's like, "I'm surprised Liz hasn't told you. The love letter that Adam left under her pillow."
Uh-oh.
And Jessica goes red and is like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, she of course she'd forgotten all about the letter, and now she's just realised.
The next day at the office, Jessica is reading that day's article. It's written by some guy called Dan Weeks.
Yes.
Who seems to be like Seth's arch rival.
Yeah, it's weird as well, because don't they say that Dan Weeks is the sports editor? And I guess it's because Seth...
Got a bit of a promotion.
I guess it's because Seth fucked up so royally on that last story that they're like, okay, we'll just have the sports editor write stuff.
Yeah, and the article now mentions the letter.
Yeah, it's all about the letter.
I guess they heard about it from the police or some kind of source they have at the station.
A legitimate source as opposed to just fake ones that someone's made up.
And Jessica decides, like, I'm going to have to tell the police that I wrote the letter.
Yeah.
She's actually being a decent person.
Yeah, she is, yeah. And
for a change.
Yeah.
She sneaks off work early and she confesses to the police that she wrote it. And Sergeant Wilson's just, like, baffled.
I love it, because he
like,
basically, like, he gets her... She explains it all, and then he gets her to explain it again, bit by bit, giving her this, like, what the fuck reaction after every bit she says, like, what? Okay. And it's like he makes her feel like such a jackass. He's like
this is weird teenager.
Yeah, he's like, this is the dumbest plan, because she's explaining how like she's explaining her whole plan. She's like, well, so my sister's going out with this guy and I wanted to split him up with her, but then I was trying to get with this other guy, so I was trying to get her to get with my brother's friend. And this desk sergeant's like, the fuck is going on?
He just doesn't get it.
Sure.
And I don't really get it either, to be honest.
No, I don't get it. No one gets it.
But he asked her to keep quiet about the letter for now, so the real killer won't realise that they're onto him and they're still looking for him.
Yes. Yeah.
But if the real killer thinks that they just think it's Adam, then...
Yeah, if he thinks he's got away with it, he might slip up and they might find it easier.
At this point, I thought that Sergeant Wilson was the killer.
I went through a few killers.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he doesn't want it. Like, you know, he's trying to cover it for himself or something.
I even briefly suspected Seth at one point as well.
Yeah, I did as well.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I thought it might just be me, but yeah, I did briefly think it might be Seth.
No, and I think I'll tell you the bit when I thought Seth was in on it.
We haven't got it written down as well.
Wonder if it's the same
That'd
bit.
be funny.
So the next day, Seth is in a terrible mood because Dan Weeks has become the hot new journalist on the paper.
Yeah, because he's covering the murder, which is the only thing that's ever happened in Sweet Valley history. So,
and it could have been him if it hadn't been for Jessica's lies.
Yeah, so he's really bitter as well.
He says to Jess that it's the office party next week and everyone will be all over Dan.
I should point out, though, Seth, the fact that you believed her probably makes you a pretty shit reporter.
Yeah. Jess tells him just not to worry about it. And and
forget about it.
Yeah, she just asked for a ride to the party. Like the audacity.
Yeah.
Like, just give me a ride.
She also says that Dan Weeks isn't that good of a reporter. For one thing, she knows that he's got his facts wrong.
Yeah. She confesses that she wrote the letter.
That secret lasted
she just can't resist,
about 10 minutes.
She says that if they find the white Trans AM guy, it will be Seth's chance to write the story of the decade.
Yeah, and Seth, of course, is like, why did you write this letter? And she's like, oh, I'll explain that later. Come on, let's go track down the killer.
Yeah, so because he's like desperate to get back in Mr. Rob's good books and to write a good story, he agrees to help her again.
So this is the point where I thought Seth might be the killer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right here I was like, I just had a feeling. I was like, maybe Seth's the killer. So I'm curious when you thought it.
No, I didn't think that then.
Okay.
The next day, she tells Seth all about Tom Winslow, and she also says that when she went to see Adam, he seemed to have no fight left in him.
Yeah, and Seth's like, if Adam's resigned to just giving up, then he's really in trouble, basically.
Yeah, but Jess says she actually comes up with a good plan.
I know, I actually thought, like, when Jess is the most sensible person in the room, we've got issues. Yeah. And that's happened a few times in this book.
She says maybe if they can make Adam angry about Laurie's murder, then he'll be more willing to help them find the real killer.
Yeah, like if he wants revenge, he wants justice. Yeah.
Seth is impressed. They go to see Adam, who's sat in a small room with his parents.
Yeah, and yeah, Jess and Seth ask him questions, but Jess is very like
blunt.
Yeah, I mean, she brings up Laurie's name, doesn't she? And
yeah.
Like her parents were shocked because they've tried not to mention her name and stuff.
And she asks how he can stand to be locked up when Laurie's killer is roaming free. So she succeeds in making him angry.
Yeah, and he says he'll help.
Yeah, he tells him everything he knows about Tom Winslow. Tom Winslow is an extremely troubled guy who suffers from severe depression. And when Laurie told him that she couldn't see him again, he was raging and he called her an idiot. And then that's the last they saw of him.
Yeah. Tom, he makes a point that, you know, Tom and her had a big falling out, but the main person was the grandfather. Like, that's what kept going on.
He asks Seth and Jessica about the letter, and he says he can't understand where it came from because he didn't write it.
Yeah.
And Jessica doesn't want to confess in front of his parents.
No, of course not.
She'll look like a fool. So she changes the subject back to Tom. And finally she asks, like, this bloody obvious question, what Tom looks like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You think that would have been the first thing you checked?
Yeah, you would have thought.
Also, like, what bloody car he drives. They never ask that.
No.
But so Adam describes Tom, and he's blonde and he's got piercing eyes. He looks just like the killer. I
mean, you're right, actually. If Jess had just asked, what car does he drive? For all we know, Adam literally could have been like, he drives a white Trans Am with a rusted S on the side. Yeah. And then it would have been like bang to rights. That's it. That's definitely the guy.
But so back at home, Jess is waiting for Stephen to get home. She wants to borrow his car to go and meet Lila and Amy at the Dairy Burger. She thinks she's practically a celeb now, and they'll be counting on me to tell them how it feels to be part of the biggest scandal to hit Sweet Valley.
So basically, she thinks, I might have to just drive there and risk being murdered. Yeah,
she looks at the Fiat Spider keys and she thinks, like, oh, I shouldn't. But she
Probably
does. Not. So she's just cruising along with the top down. She's humming along to the radio. She's, like, not even paranoid in the slightest.
No, she's like, she even says, like, for the first time since it happened, she's, like, happy. She lets the top down. She's like, yay, let's have a good time.
And then at the traffic lights, a blonde man in a white Trans Am pulls up next to her.
Oh, no.
And it's him. It's the killer.
Yeah. Now, it looks like the killer doesn't see her, or is at least pretending like he hasn't seen her?
Like, what are the chances?
What are the chances, and why isn't Jessica at least trying to memorize the license
Literally
plate?
pulling up at the same... Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
I guess if she's distraught or whatever, maybe, but yeah.
And then he just speeds off.
Yeah.
Later on... We don't get, like, a description of the Dairy Burger.
No, we don't know. I guess there's more important things going on.
I wanted to hear her bragging to Lila and Amy.
She didn't go there because I think she went straight to the police and then phoned home.
Yeah, I think she was freaked out. So she goes home. She's freaked out. Ned and Alice are later on. Ned and Alice are grounding her for taking the car.
Yeah.
They said she's now only allowed to leave the house to go to work and nowhere else.
Yeah, I mean, she's grounded for scaring them and nearly getting murdered. It's fair.
But that doesn't last long because...
It lasts like 3 minutes.
Yeah, Liz mentions the office party and they beg and beg and then they give in and say Jess can go.
On the understanding that Liz and Jess don't let each other out of their sight.
Yeah, they've already been told not to go anywhere alone.
And we'll see how long that lasts.
Mm-hmm. Saturday night comes and Jessica, as usual, is getting ready in Elizabeth's room.
Yes.
Because hers is too much of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Liz says she's heartless for being so excited about a party when Adam's locked up. It's like, well, you're still going to the fucking
You were
party,
still
Liz.
going, yeah, I know.
If you feel that badly, don't go yourself.
Don't go yourself. But Jessica says, like, you know, me and Seth have got this. We've nearly cracked the case, don't worry.
Yeah, and also she rightly says, you know, she needs a bit of a break.
Yeah, she's had a pretty bad week, to be fair.
And then she starts talking about how Seth hasn't made a move on her yet, and she says he must be shy. Like,
yeah, she has this really weird thing when she's like, when did Jeffrey first kiss you? And Liz is going through, I guess, spoilers because I haven't got that far in the yet. But she talks about how she was trying to get him with everyone else and didn't realise, and then eventually.
Oh, it's ridiculous! Just you wait till.
I can't wait. But Jess is like, oh yeah, Seth must just be shy. It's not got anything to do with me almost ruining his entire career.
Also, it's not the fact that I'm 16.
Yeah, it's not the age
and
gap.
I'm still at school. It's not the fact that I just lie to him over and over again. He just must be shy.
Can a 22-year-old even legally date a 16-year-old in America?
I think the age of consent in America might be 18.
Yeah, it feels
I'm not 100%
quite
sure.
dodgy to me. But...
So the age of consent is 16 here.
Yeah.
Although that might have changed to 18 here.
I don't know.
I don't keep out with
It
these
feels
things
very
anymore.
wrong. Whichever way we slice it feels extremely wrong. So, yeah.
But she says, like, the party will change all of that. And Liz says, well, it's just a basic office party. It's not going to be romantic.
Well,
how does she know? How many office parties has Liz been to?
Yeah, exactly.
She acts like she's the authority on office parties. She's like, oh, it's probably just going to be like some speech about the end of year figures and like some cheap bubbly or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because you know all about it, Liz.
I was kind of hoping they'd get there and it'd be like the droids were playing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like Bruce Patman's there for no reason.
And then Jess is already thinking to herself, maybe Liz can find another way home from the party so I can go to Miller's Point with Seth.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice that you're concerned about your sister when there's a killer on the loose.
Yeah, but just ditch her there with no way of getting home. It's fine. You realise the last time you did that, Liz ended up in a massive car accident and nearly died.
Yeah. And then Ned and Alice, oh God. Then Ned and Alice are like, bye.
We're leaving.
We're going out with our mates.
We're fucking off. Goodbye.
Like, great parenting from them. They're so like, oh yeah, don't go anywhere alone, blah, blah, blah. And then they're just like, yeah, we're fucking off to play bridge with our friends. Bye.
Ned, Alice, drop your daughters off and pick them up.
I know.
Like, what are you doing?
They've got to play this bridge game.
The thing is as well, it's like, you realise, Ned and Alice, that by them driving, guess what they have to do when you've got a car? You have to use the car park. The car park where Jessica saw someone get murdered. The same car park.
I can't believe Ned and Alice are just going to their friend's house.
Bye-bye.
They could at least wait until the twins have left.
Yeah,
as
I know.
well.
Yeah,
like...
No, like, now we're leaving now.
Yeah.
We got to get on.
So yeah, great parenting from them. They say Stephen has left his car keys for them if Seth can't pick them up.
Yeah, it's got like a dodgy clutch or something wrong with it, but they're like, so just be a bit careful with it. But it, it should work. Catch you later.
Yeah, we'll just leave you in a car that might break down. It's not really working correctly, but it'll be fine. And then they say no, it's fine because Seth is picking them up. But then, surprise, surprise, as soon as Alice and Ned have gone,
the phone rings.
Yeah, Seth calls. He says he's stuck at work, so we can't pick them up.
Yeah, so they're going to have to both go in Stephen's car. But then the phone rings again.
It's Sergeant Wilson. He needs to see Jessica at the station immediately, and he's going to send a car to pick her up.
Yeah. So now they're separated. So basically, like, within seconds of Alice and Ned leaving, they're separated.
Because Jessica could have taken Liz to the station, but she thinks that it might be about the letter, and she doesn't want Liz to find out about it. So she
wouldn't have found out, though. That's what confused me.
She could have waited in, like, the waiting room.
But she didn't even need to, like, it's like, just drop her off. It's fine.
So she says, I just need to go over the witness report. And Liz is like, what's the witness report?
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, Liz, you're meant to be clever. What do you think it is? It's a report from a witness.
Use your writer's imagination. What do you think it could be?
At this point as well, I thought that it was Sergeant Wilson was the killer.
Yeah, I didn't think that, but I can see it now. Like, I can see it
I
now.
thought, he wants her to go to the station, he's going to pick her up. He's going to kill her, basically.
I hadn't thought that, but I can totally see why you thought that.
So, Jessica says to Liz, like, you go on ahead and take Stephen's car. Even though they're not supposed to go anywhere alone, Elizabeth's absolutely fine with this.
Yeah.
And then Jeffrey calls and she just doesn't give a shit about anything anymore.
No.
Just like gushes to Jeffrey and it's like, bye, Jess.
Yeah, catch you later.
And at the station, Sergeant Wilson gives Jessica a photograph and asks if this is the guy she saw.
Yeah.
And it is. Don't they have to do a lineup? Or at least show them a few photos and be like, which one of these?
You would have thought.
They don't just show one and be like, is this him?
Yeah. And also the photo they give her is crap. Like, it says like half of his face is obscured by a banner or something, and it's like it's not really a good photo.
No, I'm sure like they have to show you a few.
Yeah, because otherwise you're basically you're basically like
insinuating on one person.
Yeah,
like,
you're basically implanting in their head that it's probably this one person. Yeah, you'd think they give her like a number of sketches, a number of photos.
This is Sweet Valley Police. They've
never had a murder before. They don't know what to do.
Yeah. And Lisbeth is running late because she's been gushing to Jeffrey, and then she gets into Stephen's car and it won't start.
Can I read this?
Yeah?
I made a note here, which I think I sent you earlier. But so she heads out to Stephen's car and it won't start. Liz thinks that she'll have to get a cab. She can't use the Fiat because she'll get murdered. The cab's not available. There's no cabs available. So she phones Enid because she can't use the Fiat because she'll get murdered. Enid isn't answering, so she thinks about getting the bus because she can't use the Fiat because she'll get murdered. The bus is going to take too long. Liz is going to use the Fiat.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Apparently as well, when she calls Enid's gone out somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, Enid doesn't have other friends.
I was thinking that.
Where is she?
Enid might have been murdered.
Yeah.
Like, where is Enid?
Liz is the only friend she has. If she's not with Liz... Although actually, she might have a boyfriend at this stage.
What, George? Or maybe not George anymore.
No, she's not with George by this point.
Oh my God, so many spoilers.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
But she might have another guy, I think. I can't remember. So, yeah, Liz just takes the spider. Sergeant Wilson had driven Jessica to the party, but he hasn't escorted her through the same car park.
I know! No one cares about
this
car park, this murder car park. Everyone's like, yeah, you walk through that.
Just drops her off, like, yeah, see ya, bye. So she actually has to walk through floor 5 or was 6. I can't remember,
she has to literally walk through
happened.
Everywhere where this happened. Yeah.
And then when she walks through floor 5/6, whatever floor it is,
can't
I can't remember.
believe her goddamn eyes.
Yeah, the white is it Trans AM or Trans Am?
It's Trans Am, but
I keep saying
it might be Trans AM. I don't know.
I've never even heard of it. I know nothing about cars.
No, that's fine.
The white Trans Am is parked up there.
Yeah. She looks and she sees that there's no driver, which is something, I guess. Breathes a sigh of relief and walks into the building.
But it gets worse.
Yes, it does.
Inside, she finds Seth, and he's deep in conversation with the killer.
Yes. The blonde-haired killer.
This is when I thought Seth was the killer.
Right, you thought maybe they were both in on it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Seth introduces him as Thomas, son of, this bit was confused me. He's the son of, like, some big shot reporter.
Yeah.
Or something.
It's,
he's got connections to the paper.
Yeah, and he's a friend of, Robert Carlyle or something.
Robert Carlyle?
Carlyle?
Is that his name?
Rob Carlyle?
Isn't that an actor from the Full Monty?
You might be right. I don't know. Maybe he's friends with the guy from the Full Monty. I don't know. They're a newspaper too. Maybe it's a high class newspaper too.
And then he doesn't seem to recognise Jessica, and he shakes her hand.
Yeah, she introduces herself, and she thinks, "Oh, maybe he doesn't recognise me. Maybe I'm okay."
She pulls Seth aside, and she says to Seth, "Like, this guy's the murderer."
Yeah, and Seth's like, "Now you're lying."
Oh, he's really annoying in this bit. Yeah,
I know. I was like, "Look, I know she was bullshitting earlier, but you know there's a murder. Your newspaper's reported on the fact that there's a murder."
And he keeps believing every bullshit story she says, and now
except
he doesn't
the one
believe
that's
her.
real. Yeah.
And she says, "Look, I've just even seen a photo of him at the police station."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, maybe you are serious."
Yeah. Oh, maybe you're right.
And then this bit really pissed me off.
If I was him, I wouldn't even care either. I'd just be like, well, if she's lying, she'll just get arrested by the police. So yeah, I'll just go tell the police. Fine.
This bit really annoyed me.
This made no sense.
He
sense.
tells her to stall Tom while he runs out to a payphone to call the police.
Even though he was deep in conversation with him, so it would have made more sense if he stalled him.
Yes, that's what I've written down.
But also, it's a goddamn office. There's plenty of phones. Just go and phone from over there.
So he apparently doesn't want to call in the office in case Tom gets shown around and catches him.
Right.
calling the police. It's going to take, what, like a few minutes to call the police.
It's
He's
fine.
unlikely to get caught. And, like, why does he want to leave Jessica with the killer?
He has to leave
You
Jessica.
stay with the killer. Let Jessica go and call the police. And, yeah, because this bit's so stupid... I was like, surely Seth's in on it now.
I see why you think that, because logically that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to call the police and they're going to find some way of killing Jess, Yeah,
and she's like terrified of this guy, and he's like, I'm just going to leave you with her.
Yeah,
with him.
Just wait here, it's fine.
So when Seth leaves, Tom starts flirting with Jessica.
Yes, yeah.
She thinks under normal circumstances I'd find him quite handsome.
Of course.
Like, do you ever stop, really?
No, apparently not.
And he says she looks familiar, and he starts trying to place where he's seen her before.
Yeah, this goes on way too long as well.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, were you at the golf course last week? Are you my mum's friend? Are you, like...
He asks if she was part of the crew for a boat called Lone Blue.
Yeah, like it gets so specific. But it goes on... I don't know if it was just me, but it felt like it went on
did
for
go on
ages.
for ages,
He's like
yeah.
listing these like ridiculous scenarios where they might have met.
I was imagining her in like a little sailor outfit on a boat called Lone Blue. It just made me laugh.
Lost at sea.
And then he leers at her and he asks if she wants to go somewhere more intimate with him.
Oh boy.
And she says no, and he's like, fine, I'm leaving now, this party's shit.
Yeah. He basically acts like Bruce Patman.
And then an intern comes over and tells Jessica there's a phone call for her. It's Stephen. So she begs Tom to wait until she gets back.
Yeah.
Stephen tells her the Fiat is gone, and she says it must have been Liz. And she explains what happens, and she says if Liz arrives as Tom is leaving, he'll recognise the car with her in it. So she has to stall Tom for longer.
Yeah, and of course now Stephen...
Where the hell is Seth?
Where is Seth? Now Stephen and Cara obviously know. Why doesn't Stephen immediately call the police as well? Because I would.
Yeah.
I'd be like, right, I'm calling the police now.
Yeah. It's like Seth is taking so long.
Yeah, do you think like he went out to the phone, the payphone, because I go into a payphone, right? Do you think he went out to the payphone and was like, oh wait, I haven't got any change, I need to go to the to the newsagents and buy a newspaper first, or I need change, I'll go buy a chocolate bar.
Yeah. And then we cut to Liz. She's pulling into the 5th floor, and she notices a car leaving.
Uh-oh.
She's too distracted to notice that it's a white Trans Am, and the driver is staring at her with a look of horror.
Yeah.
So by complete coincidence, like, she's arrived literally as Tom's leaving in the car.
And I guess now he's like, oh my god, now I remember where I know you from.
Yeah, like,
now that I've seen you with the car.
some memory in him.
So Liz pulls into the space, and then I think he backs up with the Trans Am blocking her in.
Yeah, she starts honking her horn.
I don't know why she's honking her horn, because it's like, you've parked up, it doesn't matter, just go out.
Yeah, he
But then, of
gets
course,
out.
she
He
realises.
gets out of the car, and he demands to know how she got from the party to the car park so fast. Because obviously he thinks she's Jessica.
Yeah.
And then he says, "I thought you lied to me at the party," and he reaches through the window and touches her hair.
Oh my god.
And then he picks up a large piece of lead pipe.
Yeah, I mean, like
raises it
randomly, there's a
menacingly.
piece of lead pipe on the floor that he just
you
picks
know what
up.
this reminded me of?
What?
Streets of Rage.
Oh yeah, it's very Streets
There's
of Rage.
like that lead pipe weapon. I was just
That's what
the
you
weapon
think
in
of,
my
it's just that
head
big
literally
pipe.
looked like the Streets of Rage pipe.
Yeah, and then he punched a bin and ate a turkey.
Yeah. And he orders her to get out of the car, and then for some reason he says, "I've never had a girlfriend before."
Yeah, just throwing that out there.
He's an incel.
Yeah, he is an
Clearly.
incel. He tried to have a girlfriend though, I guess, in Laurie.
Yeah, I don't know if Americans incels have been in the news, but it stands for involuntarily celibate.
Yes.
And it's this like apparently community of men who are single and bitter.
Yes, and
blame
I
everything on the fact they've never had a girlfriend.
Well, I mean, he is kind of used it as an excuse here.
He is
like,
yeah.
I've never had a girlfriend before,
Yeah.
so I'm going to murder you.
So she punches the horn and holds it down to try and get some attention. But he cracks the pipe against the windshield.
I got a bit like, oh my god. Because for me, the red Fiat's like iconic.
Oh, I know.
And like it gets really damaged there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this is serious.
Yeah, because then he starts pounding the doors with it as well.
Yeah. And Liz like speeds off forward, smashes into the Trans Am with the Fiat Spider.
And then finally, the security guard comes over.
I don't know what the hell was he doing this whole time. Yeah, like he heard like there was like beeping horn, like smashing windows.
Been off making another phone call.
Yeah, he was off
another quick
skiving.
Phone call. And he tells Sam to drop Adam. Who the hell's Sam? Oh my God, Sam's from our
Sam
Super
Sloane.
Twins episode. He wouldn't kill anyone.
No, Sam Sloane's a lovely boy.
He tells Adam to drop the weapon, but Adam just knocks the guard out cold.
Yeah.
And then he pins Liz to the side of the car and cracks her head against it.
Yeah, he knocks her out against the side of the car.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jessica's arrived and she's seen all this.
Yeah, Jessica's hearing the commotion and she starts running towards it, saying, "Liz, I'm coming for you."
And then she finds another random weapon on the floor.
Oh no, this the tire iron the guard brought with him, and
what is it? I don't even know what a tire iron is.
It's for like doing up the nuts on a tire, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, basically the guard came in with that, but then Adam wrestled him to the floor, which is how that was a less random weapon. Don't know where the guard got it from, but you know.
Yeah, Jessica grabs this and she crouches down. She creeps up on Tom and she strikes him with it on the side of the head.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tom hears her coming and he turns around just as she's swinging it, so he gets it straight in the face, like the side,
of
the head.
Home Alone too.
Yeah, it kind of does.
They hit someone with some kind of iron. Like
yeah.
They hit Merv.
Yeah.
Some kind of iron on the side of his face.
Yeah.
God, a podcast on Home Alone would be great, wouldn't it?
We should do we could do a podcast on Home Alone sometime. Join us on The Movies Made Us Do It.
Yeah.
We'll do a Home Alone.
Be brilliant.
That'd be good.
Rich does another podcast, The Movies Made Us Do It.
Yes.
And I'm going to make them do a Home Alone episode.
Sounds good to me. I'm up for that.
We could just describe in detail all of the
injuries, the graphic injuries in Home Alone.
It's so violent when you look back on it now.
Yeah, like, and it's all done for laughs. Each of those things would have killed them. Like, each one that happens is just hideous. But yeah, so Tom is on the floor, but he's not unconscious. He's like in agony because his head's split open and whatever, but he's still conscious. And Jessica's trying to wake up Liz.
Yeah. She comes around and Jessica holds her up as they walk towards the door because she can't walk or stand.
Yeah, she's
Jessica's
like really
sort of,
out of it.
supporting her.
Yeah.
But Tom says if they take one more step, he'll bash their heads in.
That's not a reason to stay.
And then he says, "God knows why there are two of you."
Yeah, he's just like,
why do you think?
What magic is this?
Yeah.
You know, I noticed
twins?
Like people in these books like have never seen twins in their life.
Yeah, they all act like twins are like
the weirdest
amazing.
thing.
And Jessica whispers to Liz that if she makes a run for it, Jessica will follow.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Jessica, apparently Liz can barely walk. Like, you've had to hold her up.
Yeah.
Well, now you're like, just make a run for it.
I think she's saying it to try and protect Liz, isn't she?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't.
Liz obviously is not going to be able to run.
No.
But she tries. She runs for the door, and while she's doing that, Jessica lunges forward, and she...
Jess is a real hero.
She is. She catches Tom by surprise and pins his arm behind his back.
Yeah.
But of course, he's like stronger than her, so he wrestles free and he holds the lead pipe up to her head.
Yeah, and he says he's going to shut her up forever.
Meanwhile, Liz has managed to get to the stairwell and she sets off the fire alarm, which is like a really good idea.
That was a really good idea, yeah.
And then she just passes out.
Yeah, yeah. But of course, Seth and a couple of guards come running and they see what's going on.
Yeah, he arrives with 2 more security guards. Where the hell have these other 2 security guards been this whole time?
Yeah, there must be like... Yeah, I thought there'd be CCTV and they could probably see some massive thing going on.
The security in the Western building is crap.
Wouldn't like... Yeah, you'd think that the guard down there would have like radioed in as well to say like, guys, something's going on in the car park.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go look at it, but, you know...
So they find the other guard still unconscious, and they find Tom holding the pipe to Jessica's head.
Yeah, yeah. And Seth says, you know, it's over. The police are on their way, you know. I forgot. I've just got there here. When Tom's got the pipe and he's going to bash her head in, he calls her a little idiot. He's like, you little idiot.
Harsh words.
Oh, such harsh words.
It's like a Liz and Todd insult.
It is, yeah.
When Todd calls Liz a little fool.
You little fool.
Seth races forward and he pins Tom down.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic.
And then guards rush in with magical rope and tie him up.
Yeah.
I don't know, they just got rope.
That is like a cartoon baddie, like catching a baddie in a cartoon.
Do all guards walk around with rope just in case? They're like,
they don't need guns and stuff, they've just got rope.
Just got rope.
An hour later, they're all at the police station and Tom has been arrested. And Jessica's smiling to herself. She thinks, I have to admit, I've behaved heroically.
Well, in this instance, she is right this time. I mean, that's
She has
fair.
to admit it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Like, she is so modest, usually.
Yeah.
But she tells Mr. Rob Seth should be the one to cover this story.
Yeah.
But he'll need some help. Some help from someone who knows what really happened. Like her.
Yeah.
Mr. Rob thinks it's a great idea. And he says, you're both in charge of this story.
You know, he only thinks that because, like, she is the story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be like...
And obviously, like, Liz is insanely jealous of this.
Yeah, of course.
She's pissed off because she thinks, like, she's the writer. And it would be annoying.
It would be pretty annoying. But at the same time, your sister did save your life, so...
Yeah, but then Liz could write it and write about Jessica, you know?
Yeah. But as we've learnt during this, I think Jessica's just as talented in terms of her writing skills as Liz.
Well, she's certainly dramatic.
Yeah.
She'd be good at writing soap operas and stuff.
She managed to convince Liz that that letter was actually from Adam.
Well, Liz is an idiot.
Yes.
And then they have to go home and tell Ned and Alice that Elizabeth took the spider because they still don't know.
Yeah.
And Jessica thinks, I'm glad it wasn't me this time.
Yeah, she's got away
finally,
with it.
Liz has done something wrong.
Yeah.
And then, they go home and they explain everything to Ned and Alice.
Yeah, and there's a moment here when Liz finally learns that the letter was written by Jessica. And Liz is like, how dare you? It's so disgusting of you. And it's like, Liz... I mean, yes, it is, but Jessica did just save your life and save the day. Like, give her a break on this one.
She learns it at breakfast the next day because everyone's praising Jessica again.
Yeah.
And Stephen says, there's still something I don't understand. Like, why Adam wrote that letter to Liz.
Yeah.
And then Jessica acts all suspicious and Liz works it out.
Yeah.
Elizabeth says it's the lowest, most contemptible, vilest thing. And Stephen adds the word loathsome. And Elizabeth says that Adam could sue Jessica for this.
I mean, he could.
Yeah, he
potentially. I just can't believe that Liz didn't immediately suspect Jess.
No, I
like
can't
it's
either.
like, come on.
She never does she?
No, I know.
And Jessica rightly points out, though, she says, like, Adam's going to be too grateful to me to worry about suing me.
Yeah, I mean, he would be going to jail if it wasn't for Jess.
And then she says, Liz is ruining Stephen's homecoming by talking about this nonsense. And she flounces off. And then at work, Jessica tells Seth that he can thank her for what she's done by dedicating his next mystery to her.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, Jess, in a kind of like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and he also says he's been wondering how she knew that he wrote mysteries because nobody at work knows.
Yeah, he didn't question how she got his flipping number, though.
Yeah. And she says, well, you're not the only one who can be a sleuth. By sleuth, you mean like stalker.
Stalky, yeah.
And then she says, you must have been scared that you'd never get to tell me how you felt about me. And she asks when he's going to apologise to her for not believing who Tom was. I mean, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, he should apologise for that, at least.
And he goes red and he offers to take her out to dinner to make it up. But that's not enough. She demands that he writes his next mystery all about her. And she has to be the heroine. And there has to be enough details in there so that all of her friends know that it's about her.
Yeah, doesn't she say you can change the name?
Yeah.
But it has to be so like me that everyone knows.
He has to say that the heroine's 5'6", eyes as blue as the Pacific Ocean, dimple in their left
gold
cheek,
lavalier,
never wears a watch. But he's like, then she insinuates that if he doesn't do what she says, she's going to tell Mr. Rob that she doesn't think it's fair for him to write the story because he was so suspicious of the whole thing to start with.
Yeah.
So she basically starts
like,
blackmailing
I'll ruin
him.
your career twice.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you drive a hard bargain. Drive a hard bargain? She's fucking blackmailing you.
Yeah. And also, taking her out for dinner. Like, she's 16. It's gonna look weird, dude. Like, where are you gonna take her?
And she thinks, well, he hasn't heard all of my demands, like the fact that she had every intention of finding out what a kiss from a published mystery writer is like. So she's gonna actually blackmail him into kissing her. Like, Jesus. That is so wrong. Like, kiss me or I'll ruin your career.
Yeah, that's basically what's happening right here.
Oh my god. Like, imagine if that was a guy.
Yeah.
Doing that to like a like,
I mean,
girl,
this
like,
is actually I would not put this past Bruce Patman. This is the kind of thing Bruce Patman I could totally see doing. I'll ruin your career if you don't kiss me or go out with me.
Definitely.
But now Jess is stooped to Bruce's
But it's fine
level.
when Jess does it, because it's just what
it's
she's
hilarious,
like.
Jess. Yeah.
So Adam is free, and the Wakefields. He's at the Wakefields, and he's thanking them for everything they've done. And then there's like a massive emotional scene.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite sweet.
It's very sweet, yeah.
And then a week later, Jessica's furious. Her name isn't on the byline of the article, which is a bit unfair.
It's pretty unfair, yeah.
Sexism in the 80s.
Yeah.
80s journalism.
Well, I guess it is, yeah. I mean, she did co-write it. They made it pretty clear.
Yeah, although she is just an intern, but...
Even so.
Although, I would question, actually, like, should someone who's so involved in it be responsible
Probably
for
not.
writing it, actually?
No. But then Seth was also involved, so it's like...
It's like, well, this article is about Jessica Wakefield, and it's written by Jessica Wakefield.
Yeah, if anything, she should be thankful that her name's not on it, because she's presumably mentioned by name several times in the article. It would look pretty self-serving if it was like, here's heroic Jessica Wakefield written by Jessica Wakefield.
Yeah. So she starts spying on Mr. Bennett again through the binoculars.
Oh, God. Poor Mr. Bennett.
She tells Liz, like, oh, my God, he's dragging a crate out of the cellar. And Liz is like, haven't you learnt your lesson about this? But she says she's going to tell Seth all about this, and she's going to keep a close watch on the neighbours from now on.
And then they turn away, and Mr. Bennett takes out the gold bullion and starts putting it into the...
The twist is Mr. Bennett
was the thief all along. She had no evidence, but she was right.
No, that's not true. Mr. Bennett is just
a poor old man who's trying to do some gardening.
To do his gardening, yeah. And that's where we end.
Yes, I had a really good time reading this one. This was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Both of these, the super chiller for Casey's and the super thriller for Kelly's.
I feel a bit sad going back to our normal episodes.
I feel sad going back to them, but I must admit I am very much, after 2 weeks of this, I'm really looking forward to a nice 100-page Twins book next week. It's going to feel like a holiday.
Definitely. And also, only a few weeks until Special Christmas.
We'll be doing another Christmas special, yeah.
On our last episode, we have some comments from... Our last episode was Rags to Riches.
It was
our last
indeed.
episode of Kelly's, which might have been my favourite episode we've ever done.
I think so. It was a wonderful book, yeah.
Claire PH said she laughed at the thought of being old enough to be Alice Wakefield, as we did.
Yep.
And then she realised when she was 16, her mum was 39, which is younger than she is now, so she feels old.
Yeah.
So do we.
These books just drive it home, though, don't they? Like you said in this one, anyone this above 30 is like ancient to them.
Yeah. Like, I still feel like I relate to the kids more than the parents in this book.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about us.
I'm 36.
Yeah, I'm 37. So yeah.
But I feel like I'm closer to Jess and Liz's age than Ned and Alice.
Yeah, certainly in their behaviour, in Ned and Alice, I don't have a bridge club or anything.
No. I don't think I ever will.
No, don't plan to.
And my pastel paperbacks has had an interesting fact about this book, because we were saying how good the ghostwriter was.
Yes.
Well, they've included everything.
Really good, yeah.
Apparently, this book is the first book by one of the most famous ghostwriters, who went on to write the first 100 books.
Well, that's good news for us, because she was great.
Yeah. So that's probably why we got everything and the kitchen sink thrown in.
Yeah. It was great because it just referenced everything, that book. It was like everything we've read before.
Waterware said that on Saturday Night Live, Kim Kardashian was on it. You're like, where the fuck is this going?
Yeah, I'm curious now.
And she was wearing a diamond ring up to her knuckle.
Oh my god.
So, maybe Mrs. Oh, what's her name? Oh, the Patman's friends.
Oh God, yeah.
Or was it Miss? Oh, it was Mrs. Patman actually that was wearing a diamond ring up to her
It might have
knuckle.
been Mrs. Patman. Is either
Maybe
Mrs. Patman
she's,
or it was the miserable old lady
Yeah,
that she
maybe
was
she's
friends
a bit
with.
of a Kim K.
Or maybe Kim K read the book and was like, hey. Like she read Rags to Riches as a kid. And she was like, do you know what? One day, I'm going to have enough money to get that.
Waterware also said that when she thinks of Lila's flat face, she thinks of Flats the Flounder from SpongeBob SquarePants. There's a picture of Flats if you're not a SpongeBob
Oh, wow.
fan.
Okay, no, I didn't know the characters of that. Yeah.
It's very flat.
He is very flat.
She sent me this like description of Flats the Flounder. It says his powers and skills are strength, deception, and he can make himself skinny and wide.
That's a fantastic power. Lila has that power, I assume.
And also, Lippy Lupton sent us a photo of a van she saw in the street for a company called The Stove Shop.
Oh, brilliant.
And then today, literally as we were recording this podcast, it popped up. She sent us another one. She's found a book in Cornwall called The Bookshop.
Fantastic. Keep these coming in. These are fantastic.
I'm enjoying these. We'll post these all up.
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
Yeah, I think that's about it for this time.
Wonderful. Well, spooky season is at an end.
I'm really sad.
For us. I mean, we'll be publishing a book. We'll be publishing a podcast on the Monday after Halloween. But it will be back to our regular, won't it?
Yeah, so please go back and listen to Ghost in the Graveyard as well if you haven't already.
Yes, you could listen to that for Halloween if you haven't.
Which is Sweet Valley Twins. And as they're standalones, if you're not into Sweet Valley Twins or you didn't read it or you haven't been listening, it doesn't matter because it's a standalone book.
It's a standalone and it was great. The Ghost in the
Graveyard.
Graveyard.
It's very Halloween-y.
So good.
It's really spooky.
But I really enjoyed this one and I was a bit worried going into it that it wouldn't be very horror-y. Because it's more of a thriller than a chiller.
It is more of a thriller.
But there's some pretty scary, like, slashery like moments in this. You know, like when he's smashing the car up and she sees his piercing eyes in the dark. And there's we didn't mention it, but there was also that the dream we touched on was quite scary. It had like chilling fingers and all this stuff trying to grasp her neck and things. You know.
Oh yeah, her nightmare.
So there's a few bits in this. There were a few horror-y bits. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So our next Kelly's episode is going to be Love Letters.
Oh,
in
finally!
2 weeks' time.
Finally, we get to find out about Caroline Pierce.
About Caroline, yeah.
And her imaginary boyfriend.
Her imaginary boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or is he imaginary?
Oh, well, I guess we'll find out.
And next week's episode is going to be Casey's Ice Cream Parlour, Three's a Crowd.
Yeah.
About Mary and finding out what her big secret is.
Well, I guess we'll find out next week. I'm excited.
Very exciting. Yeah. I'll find out because I don't actually know either.
Yes, it's making a change because with twins, you haven't read all of them either. So sometimes it's a surprise to both of us.
I think this is one I haven't read.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for all your spooky Sweet Valley covers that we've been posting on Instagram and Facebook.
They've been amazing.
This week, yeah, they've been really good. We've definitely got enough now to fill the rest of the month.
Yeah, so thank you for sending them in.
Yeah, speaking of the covers, sad news this week. James Matthews, yeah. He passed away on October the 14th.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, he was the guy that did all the artwork on Sweet Valley. He created more than 250 covers for Sweet Valley High and Sweet Valley Twins.
Yeah, I said to you the other day that when I think of Jessica and Elizabeth, it's those paintings that I see. Those are the characters that I think of in my mind.
Yeah.
Are the characters that he painted.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I said the same. Like, I read the books before the TV show existed. And so to me, like, the twins look like they do on the cover. And
it's weird because I watched the TV show before I read the books, but they're just so iconic. Those designs for those characters. He also designed some Nancy Drew covers as well. Oh, really? That's interesting. And some other covers. I can't remember what they are. But, he definitely did quite a lot of Nancy Drew. Yeah. He was 83 years old. Yeah. Well, an incredible career. I mean, his work is amazing. Yeah. So very sad. Yeah. And yeah, just loads of nice tributes to him all over Instagram. Yeah, it's been that's one thing that's been really nice seeing all the tributes. There's been absolutely loads. Yeah, I think the whole community. He touched quite a lot of people. Yeah, well, I mean, he was, a massive part of people's childhood and growing up. Yeah, an incredibly talented man. So yeah, rest in peace, James. Absolutely.
And thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you have a really good Halloween.
Yes, have a good spooky Halloween, and we will be back next week.
All right, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.